Right here. I actually have to refilm the start of this video because I don't know what happened to my footage. But hi, so it is the week after election day, and as you guys have been seeing, I've been trying to make it my goal to tackle a few more adult fantasy reads. So the book I'm trying to tackle this week is Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. It is a really, really long book. It's like 600 pages long. So that's going to be the book that I'm kind of reading throughout this reading vlog. And I'm also listening to Becoming by Michelle Obama, which is the nonfiction read that I'm trying to tackle. I'm trying to tackle one nonfiction read a month. Sometimes it becomes to 2 months, like the Michelle Obama memoir, but still really liking that. So I'm gonna kind of put in the clips from yesterday that I wound up filming, and then we'll kind of come in and we'll check in where I am right now, and you guys will see me in the same clothes. So talk to you guys in a bit.
Hi guys, Lori here. I'm back. I just actually this was like a longer break. I got home from work. I did a couple of workouts. I ate. I just am about to dive back into Mistborn: The Final Empire, which is the book I'm in the middle of reading. I struggled today a little bit because I left my book at home. I normally read on my Kindle, and I left my Kindle at home. So I definitely got less reading done because it took me like a good 30 minutes to download this book onto my phone. And I was reading something else, but I knew that I wanted to read Mistborn, so I struggled a little bit with that. But overall, it's a very interesting book. Like, I'm about 128 pages in, so I'm literally at the start. But the world is really interesting so far. But basically, there's all these like metals that make you powerful. I think I've said that before. And you follow two main characters. You follow a character named Kel or Kelsier, and then you follow Viva. And they are basically they're basically part of like a crew, and they're gonna plan a mission in a year to take down the Empire, like the Empire, the leader of the Empire. Um, so it's really interesting. I wonder if we're gonna get more point of views, but I definitely like the crew that we have. I think the world building is really fun and really interesting. The chapters are like super long, so like I definitely read them slower. But yeah, so I'm gonna go back to reading. I'm on chapter 7. I actually was able to read quite a bit on the train ride home today. I didn't wind up listening to any audiobooks today. I really am digging the Julie and the Phantoms soundtrack. And I've been listening to that a lot, but also the podcast and the election breakdowns I've been listening to and following. So that's kind of been what I've been listening to. But I am going to dive into this, and then I'm going to try to tackle some of my videos. I have off tomorrow from work, which is such a blessing. I have to go get my ears cleaned, but I really hope to just read and craft tomorrow and just kind of take a break. Grades were due Tuesday or last week, so I actually have a little bit of time that's like not frantically trying to do grading. But we're also in the middle of a transitional period of figuring who we're teaching in person and who we're not teaching in person anymore, so that's a little bit more challenging than I would like. But I'm gonna go back to reading, and I'll update you guys when I read like another chapter, probably, because maybe another chapter, maybe another 2 chapters. It depends on how long that takes me. But I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. Hey, it's Larry here, just checking back in. I wind up reading another chapter, so I'm now on page 146 in Mistborn. This was the chapter that really dived into the world, and I love worlds that deal with science because I think it seems a little bit more realistic. I also love worlds that deal with like the 4 elements. I'm in the middle of an Avatar watch for the first time, and that is a magic system that I've always really enjoyed. This magic system is a little bit different though. So it involves like 4 metals. And when I first was reading this book, I was like, I don't understand what that means. But now what it is if when you swallow the metal that you are connected to, it lets you have power. And every metal has a push reaction and a pull reaction, so opposite reactions. And if you're a Mistborn, you can control all 8 of them. And if you're not a Mistborn, but you have like a power which all the royalty does, you can control 2 of them, a push and pull reaction. It's very, very sciencey, but super well crafted. And it also has a really interesting character dynamics because you have a young girl named Viva who's first learning that she's a Mistborn, and she's kind of on this quest, or not quest, but like this team of assassins that are going to try to overtake the Empire. And then you have Kelsiar, who is the leader. Well, not the leader, but he's kind of teaching her how to be a Mistborn. But I love that chapter developing and breaking down the magic system, because in high fantasies, I tend to get very lost in the world building, and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm actually going to try to read a couple of more chapters tonight. because I'm really liking it. It's definitely a slow-paced story for me, but one that I'm really intrigued by. So I'm gonna go back to reading and I'll update you again when I read another chapter. Bye, guys.
I'm back. So I just want to say last night I wound up downloading a free trial of Stars on Amazon. I really have been very interested in the Nexium cult. And they have a documentary from India Oxenberg who was actually in it, and it's like a 4-part documentary series. So I was waiting for them all to be loaded so I could just get the free trial and watch all 4 episodes, because that stuff, I was a psych major in college. And that stuff has always fascinated me, like cults and stuff. So I'm really hopeful that I'll get to finish watching that today. And it's kind of at a time sensitive crunch because it's like I can watch it in like 7 days. So I have to watch that. But late last night, I also did wind up finishing part 1 of Mistborn, and now I'm gonna start part 2 after I'm done talking to you guys. But I'm really liking that book. It definitely is captivating me as we move on. I don't know like what the cast of characters. I know Brandon Sanderson's cast of characters are normally like huge. So I'm really hopeful that we get a couple of more characters. But right now, I'm really liking the characters that we have. I think the Mistborn environment is super cool. I like Viva and Kel as 2 main characters. So yeah, I'm gonna go back to reading. Then I'm also gonna go watch that documentary I was telling you called Seduced. It's from Stars, but I don't actually have Stars, I don't think, so I got it on Amazon for like a free trial. So I'm gonna go watch that. I also have to go get my ears cleaned today because I'm having a little bit of trouble hearing people, which is never good when you're a teacher and people are already wearing masks. It makes my life super more complicated than I need it to be. So I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna go read Mistborn, and I'll update you guys when I can. Bye, guys. And I also have off today, so you guys will probably be seeing a lot more updates today as well, which is pretty cool. So happy Veterans Day.
Hi guys, Lori here. I'm back. It's about 2:13. I did wind up reading like chapter 10 in Mistborn: The Final Empire. It's getting really interesting. I super love books that have to do with thieving and court politics. And also on the other side of this book, there's also a war brewing. I'm loving the Mistborn world a lot. I'm really enjoying this book. It's quite fun. I'm still watching my documentary, which is called Seduced. Not for the faint of heart, I will say that. And I also have to catch up on the other Nexium documentary, which is on HBO Max. So I'm going to actually go craft for a little bit because I really don't get enough time to craft. So I'm going to kind of spend a little bit of time crafting, probably a couple of hours. I'm probably going to finish this documentary for sure because I'm on a shorter time span for this one. And then I'm just going to kind of dive back. I'm probably going to go for a bike ride later, work out, and do all the fun things. But yeah, I will update you guys when I stop crafting and when I go back to reading, and I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. Lori here. I just got back from my bike ride. I literally just biked in as it started to rain, so call that a step in the right direction. I did wind up finishing Seduced, which is the Nexium documentary following India Oxenberg, and that's the cult that Allison Mack was a part of. So now I'm going to go watch the other one, which is on HBO Max, which I fell a little bit farther behind on, so I'm going to go try to watch that and go back to reading Mistborn and hope I can make a little bit more progress in it today, which would be awesome. Still really, really liking it. Definitely the chapters are a lot longer. I said this before. I tend to like or enjoy short chapters because I tend to like stop reading and go do something else. But the longer chapters are definitely making me read more, so that's good. So I'm gonna go back to reading, and I'll update you guys when I read about 2 more chapters if I feel like I need to. But I'll definitely update you guys a little bit more with this book because the chapters are so long. Talk to you guys in a bit. It's Laura here. I'm back. It's about 6:27. I just wound up taking a shower. I'm still in the middle of watching some videos, but I got up to. So I don't like reading on a Kindle sometimes because getting to the page number is always a little bit challenging. But I think I'm on page 200 or roughly 200 in Mistborn. Really enjoying it. I'm on page 224 actually. But it definitely is diving more into the political intrigue side of things, which I'm really enjoying. And I just love the characters. We're getting like a crew. I love books about found family. That has been a trope that I have always adored, and it's no different in this one. So yeah, I'm going to go read for a little bit more, and then I'll kind of update you guys again. Talk to you guys in a bit. Bye. Larry here, I'm back. It's about 7:42. I am going to participate in the Penguin Teen Trivia Night contest. I always lose at Trivia Night contests, but they're super fun. And guys, I'm missing convention life. I just am. It's been so long. But they are having, today's Y'all East? Y'all West? East, I think, is this weekend or is supposed to be this weekend. So they're doing a fully virtual event, and I'll probably pop on and do some of the events this weekend. Hopefully, get all my work done before I come home for the weekend. It's a big goal. But I'm still reading Mistborn. I'm on chapter 14, 37% in. I really like this book. I'm really glad that I picked it up. I love books about characters that kind of find their powers and are kind of learning about it. I also love like groups of characters that work together, and I just really really like this world. I the only book series I read by Brandon Sanderson was his Steelheart series, and that was a middle grade, and he has so many books that I've heard like incredible things about, mostly from Reagan, from Bruce Project. But I have really been getting into or trying to get into high fantasy recently, especially because I have so much, well, I'm so far ahead on my Goodreads goal right now. I feel less worried about like getting to 200. I would still like to, and I think I definitely will. But less worried about that. So I'm gonna go back to reading and get ready for that trivia contest. I also am still watching The Vow on HBO Max, which is another documentary about Nexium. Just really into that right now. I go through phases of watching true crime stuff all the time, but this is like new true crime stuff. Early in the week, I watched the Slender Man documentary, which was creepy. So weird, so bizarre, so heartbreaking for all the people involved. But yeah, so I'm about to reading Mistborn, and I'll update you guys after my trivia contest. Bye, guys. Hey guys, Lori here. It is Friday, November 13th. So this week was a little bit weird. It was like we had off one day because it was Veterans Day. It was just like a weird week. We also had parent teacher conferences, which if you have been following my channel for, I don't know, about a year, at the start of COVID, we had a week where we had parent teacher conferences that Friday. We left school with the thought that we were probably going to start fully remote learning on that Monday. And that happened. Ironic thing, today was our last day of parent teacher conferences. It is November 13th. Midway through our day, we got an email from our union reps telling us, be prepared, you might go fully remote on Monday. It's just wild. It's just wild. So yeah, I like brought all my work home. I brought all my stuff home. I brought my laptop home. I brought everything home. I still did get a bunch of reading done today. I read about 2 chapters of Way of King, or no, Mistborn, sorry. Way of Kings is on my TBR. But the afternoon rush to get home, I had a lot more stuff in my hands than I normally do, and I'm just preparing to be home for a few weeks, and if I'm not home, then I'll bring this up back, but yeah. So I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish that book tonight because it's a lot of pages, but that's my goal is to finish Way of with Mistborn this weekend. I'm really liking it. It's definitely like an interesting fantasy read. I like the 2 main characters. I think the world is super interesting. I like that our cast of characters keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I also got a bunch of books in the mail. I'm waiting to do a book haul because I got a couple of more just from like giveaways that I won. They had a New York City Comic Con thing. They had another event that I went to. So I actually got quite a few books that I wasn't necessarily expecting. And I'll probably feature those in a book haul at some point this weekend. This is also the weekend of y'all. It was your All Stay Home, but I think it's now you All Right. And they're having a bunch of giveaways and a bunch of contests. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to try to unpack my backpack, which has a bunch of stuff in it from work, try to find a home for it, put away my clothes, and then I'm just going to kind of figure out what I want to do tonight. I don't really have any work to do because I did most of it at work because I was at work prepping for the week, and then all this stuff started happening, so I like stopped planning and figuring out like, all right, well maybe I don't need to plan that much. But yeah, I'm gonna go kind of organize my life a little bit, figure out what my agenda is, figure out if I want to go to yoga this weekend, all those fun things. And then when I'm done with all that stuff, I'll kind of report back. I was so tired last night. I like literally went home and I was calling parents for like 3 hours. I called parents all day today. So yeah, that's kind of where we are. If we go fully remote, I think, my kids will be a little bit disappointed. But yeah, so I'm gonna go kind of organize everything and then I'll come check in with you guys with how many errands I have to do. I don't think I have to do a lot, but I want to get some stuff done, do my yoga class, all that other fun stuff, and then I'm gonna kind of check in and see what this weekend looks like. If I have to film or if I don't have to film.
But yeah, I'll check in with you guys in a little bit. Bye. Here I'm back. I did actually wind up organizing my life a little bit, which was important. I am gonna do a couple of little things. I'm gonna kind of start planning for Christmas. Christmas is gonna look really different this year. I'm probably gonna have to send my gifts to everyone, which is something that I don't normally do. But I'm gonna have to start getting started on that and start sending gifts a little bit early and start organizing all that stuff. I also do want to get 2 weeks ahead on my blog post. I want to do Instagram. I'm hopeful that my book packages will pop up at some point this weekend so I could do my book haul. That's the one that I'm waiting for. And then I'm going to start probably thinking about Bookmas once I have all my Christmas stuff done. So I'm going to kind of do that. And then I'm just going to kind of read. I have to watch the new Mandalorian episode. But I might also just take a little bit of like a break. But I definitely want to read tonight, and I have so many YouTube videos to watch. With all the election stuff, I've been watching a lot of that, so I've been trying to like take a little bit of a step back with that. Yeah, so that was kind of what I'm planning on doing. So I'm gonna go do my blog stuff, my Instagram stuff, my group posts, all my little errands. Again, I don't have any work errands because I kind of took care of those at work. My Kindle is charging, so I can read later on. So yeah, I might actually work out once I do these things, and then I'll be caught up on my workouts. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. Here I'm back. I actually did decide to do a little bit of a detour this weekend. I'm going to take a little bit of a break from Miss Foreign. I read like 50% of that book, which I think is quite impressive. But because my feel good-a-thon with my relaxing election reads that were just fun and light, I didn't get to tackle them all. I'm going to try to tackle 2 this weekend while I wait in bated breath for them to decide what they're going to do at school on Monday. So I'm going to pick up Among the Beast and Briars first by Ashley Poston. This is her new fantasy series. I am not sure if it's a standalone or a duology, but this has to do with a girl named Cirrus who's on the run in the woods. There's a kingdom. There's a little fox involved. I'm totally excited. So this is a book I'm going to pick up now, and I'm actually going to try to read a little bit of it. I'm going to put on my YouTube videos. Actually, I'm going to put on my longer one. It's a case update for Danielle Howland, which is all the cases I followed, so I'll probably listen to that one first. And my other read is going to be Cemetery Boys, because these are the 2 that were high on my TBR, and I hope to tackle these both these weekend. But yeah, so I'm gonna go get a little bit of a snack, get some energy, and then I'm gonna start Among the Beast and Briars. I did get this from Books of Wonder, and it was signed, so I'm really excited to kind of start it, and see what I like. I didn't really read enough about the summary, but I know that it has to do with a dark wood, a creepy forest, which sounds perfect for November. So I'm gonna go start this, and I'll update you guys when I read about 50. Ooh, I forgot I have a sticker. And I have this print. This came from Books of Wonder also. And a beautiful sticker. So I will probably find. Ooh, you know what? I could put this on my Kindle case. That is what I'll do. But yeah, so I'm going to go start Among the Beasts and Briars, and I'll update you guys when I can. Bye.
And Lori here, I'm back. It's 8:27. I did actually wind up reading about 31 pages in Among the Beast and Briars. And I have to admit, I'm super intrigued. I love Ashley Poston's writing. Like, I have read almost every book by her, except for the sequel to Heart of Iron, Soul of Stars, which I do have on my TBR. But this is a really, really fun read. It basically follows this girl named Cirrus. Cirrus? It's Cerys. I think it's Cirrus. Could be wrong. But she basically is she lives with her dad in a small town, and her dad is best friends with the king, and she is best friends with the daughter and the son. And she has an unexpected magical power that she got from her mother, and there's a lore around this like thing where she lives, and her mom is from a different place, so that's how she got her powers. But a couple of years ago, there's a wood around their house, and it's controlled by like evil things, I guess. And she survived. She survived this attack that her mother was killed in, and the king's son was killed in. And now it's a flash forward a couple of years, and her best friend, the princess, is going to be crowned again. And there's a fox character, which is adorable, and that's all that I read, but I really, really like it. I have been hunting. I read Forest of Souls, which I really liked. I read Deck of Ohms, which also has like a creepy forest theme, and this one sounds perfect. So I'm definitely going to pick this up tomorrow. I really have no plans this weekend. They have still not announced if schools are closing, but I don't know. Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But I'm gonna check in with you guys tomorrow. I am gonna go to yoga tomorrow. Have to run some errands in town, get some pencils and pens and some organizing things. If we do decide to shut at some point, so I have it at my house. But yeah, I'll definitely check with you guys tomorrow before I go to work. I did not do my Skillshare classes last week because the election was just too focused on my mind. But yeah, so I might read like one more chapter. That's what I might do. I might read like one more chapter. But I will talk to you guys tomorrow morning. Bye, guys.
Here I'm back. It is Saturday morning. I just went to yoga. I did some shopping in the anticipation of a possible lockdown, which at this point, who really knows? But I do really want to tackle majority of Among the Beast and Briars tonight. Last night I did watch The Good Doctor, which I feel like it's going to be an emotional season in that show, just with everything going on. It's tackling COVID. But very, very good. I also finally got a copy of The Project by Courtney Summers. I had to do some finagling with NetGalley, but it worked. So yeah, I'm gonna go probably dive into Among the Beast and Briars. I have a lot of YouTube videos to watch, like a freaking amount of YouTube videos to watch. So that's gonna kind of be my focus for today, is to kind of watch a bunch of them, plan my Christmas list for myself, because people keep asking me and I don't know what I want this year. It's so hard to choose. So I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna read, and when I get up to page about maybe like a little bit more, maybe like 75, I'll probably update you guys and let you guys know my thoughts on Among the Beast and Briars. I started it last night. Also, in my interim of running around town, I also did make a little bit more progress on Becoming by Michelle Obama. Still really, really enjoying that book. I love her voice. I love when she tells me stories, and I just think it's really interesting to see about the presidency from the First Lady's point of view, especially because Michelle Obama was such like an influential First Lady. And I really like hearing her stories. So I'm going to go read a little bit, go make sure that my book's downloaded on NetGalley, and then I'm going to start reading, and I'll update you guys when I can. Bye.
Lori here, I'm back. It's about 1:30. I did end up getting up to page 70 in Among the Beast and Briars by Ashley Poston. I love Ashley Poston's writing. I really, really do. I think Ashley Poston's writing and the way she talks about diversity in the world, but also LGBTQ relationships in the world, is how I want all my reads to be, because she just does it so seamlessly. It reminds me a lot of Mary Lou's writing in that regard, like diversity and LGBTQ relationships. I think that is something that I want to see in all my reads. I want my reads to represent real world, whether it's a fantastical world, a contemporary world. I just want it to represent my world that I'm currently living in. And I think that Ashley Poston does it so well. The one thing that's super creepy about this read is it has to do with like the woods, and the woods can like capture you or like get into your body, and they can make you have like things that attack you. So basically her best friend is about to be crowned queen. Something happens at the inauguration that goes horribly wrong. And now she's starting to deal with some things from her past, some people from her past that she wasn't necessarily expecting. But it's super good, very, very well paced. This is like the perfect eerie and creepy read that I like. I've said this before. So this is my creepy read. I don't like horror. Horror books scare me. I don't like horror movies. I do like eerie though. So this one might be perfect. I really am enjoying it. You have Sirius as the main character, and she has, due to an incident in her past, she has magic that lets her make flowers bloom. And her dad's a gardener and she's a gardener, and that kind of makes people feel a little bit uncomfortable when they know that she has magic. But she also she got that magic through an incident with the woods that they're not allowed to go in. But now the woods have the woods have kind of turned against the community and her friend, and that's it. She also has I'm doing such a bad job explaining this book. But she also has like a little sidekick, a fox, who I just love. That's great. I love sidekick animals. They're like some of my favorite book tropes in fantasy novels. Like I love when you have like a side character or like a side animal. So yeah, I'm gonna go back to reading, and I'll read for about 30 more minutes, and then I'm probably gonna do another workout, because I didn't get to work out the past couple of days because we had parent-teacher conferences, and then I came home last night and really just wanted to make sure everything was set for Monday, whatever winds up happening with school stuff. As I said, school is still on the horizon of being fully remote in about a few days, so we're still waiting to hear about that. But my goal was to make sure that everything was organized. I'm also watching a lot of YouTube videos because I'm going to start my Christmas shopping tomorrow, like start really planning stuff. This is also the first year I'm not going to see people due to all the restrictions and safety sake and stuff like that. I don't want to put anyone in risk, especially with the job that I have and how I work in a New York City public school and I commute every single day as of right now. So I'm going to try to plan my Christmas gifting a little bit differently, where I'm going to just send people gifts, which is not what I normally do, but sign of the times. So I'm going to go read a little bit more, and then I'm going to go do another workout. Probably listen to my Michelle Obama autobiography or something else that I was in the middle of listening to. And I'll update you guys when I read about 15 more pages. Bye, guys. I'm back. I did wind up getting up to page 86 in Among the Beast and Briars. I'm really liking this book. Definitely took an interesting turn. We started this book only having one point of view, but now it's kind of expanding. I always kind of find that interesting because you normally, as a writer, I would assume you want to keep things very, very consistent. But I do like when you get multiple point of views, and if it's the twist I think it is, I think it's going to be super interesting. But basically, the character now is on the run. She's running from what happened at the coronation. She found some friends. I'm going to say friends because they're not human right now. But I really like her as a character. I think she's very, very interesting and compelling. The world and the magic and the elements of like the wood. Is she what does she call it? She calls it what does she call it? She says they're wood cursed. So when you get these things like these, if any of these things attach to you, you basically become infected with wood, and like your skin is like gets like all vines on them. It's really, really gross, I'll say that. Like it's very, very eerie, very, very creepy. But everyone she loves and everyone she knows has been cursed by this that happened at the coronation, but she still has the crown, and that is what gives the ruler power over this little world, and it lets the woods, I guess, not be as dangerous. So now she's this person, has this crown, and she's kind of on the run. So that's where I am right now. Really enjoying it. I'm loving that we're getting 2 point of views. I did not expect that going into this book. So I'm gonna take a little bit of a break. I'm gonna go work out. Probably listening to something. I don't know what I'm gonna listen to. But yeah, so I will check back in after I read a little bit more. But I am on page almost 90, and I'm really enjoying it. So talk to you guys in a bit. I read page about 100, and I'm really liking it. I love books about the woods. I always think books about the woods are like super creepy and really, really fun, and this is like no different. But I like the cast of characters in this book. I like trios of characters. I always do, and this trio of characters is just unique. I don't want to like give too much away, but you do have 2 point of views, and it did go away that I was thinking. So I don't want to spoil it, but this is like a great book for a kid that's just starting reading young adult books, because it does have some elements, actually quite a few elements, pulled from middle grade as like an animal, as like a companion. And I really like that. It reminds me a little bit of Percy Jackson and how Rick Riordan had animal characters, and how they didn't necessarily speak, but they really had a personality. So I'm really enjoying it, like quite a lot. It also reminds me of Keeper of the Lost Cities. They have quite a few animals in that book as well, like quite a few animals. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this book. So I'm gonna go back to reading, and I will update you guys when I read about 50 more pages. I'm also loving catching up on my YouTube videos. I had like 60 YouTube videos to watch, so it's fun to kind of like add stuff to my TBR. And I'm watching Bookables right now. But yeah. So I'm going to go back to reading, and I'll update you guys when I can. Bye. Here, just checking back in. I did wind up getting up to page 126 in Among the Beast and Briars. This book is so fun. I think it has so many elements I'm enjoying. I really like I normally like books that have like more than one point of view, because I think it really helps expand the world. These 2 point of views are so different. But I also like the world and like the wood curse. I think that's really interesting. And it's eerie and it's creepy, but it's not like scary. I mean, it can be scary, but like again, it's fun. And I just like the 2 characters. They're really different and they're just really unique. But it also has high stakes, and you don't know what's gonna happen. Like, I don't know, like the character doesn't really know what she's doing, which I think is always interesting sometimes for a main character. You normally see characters that have a point and a plot and like everything is kind of going towards this thing, but that's not what this book is, and I'm kind of loving it because I feel like if I was in the situation, that is exactly what I would do. Like, I have no idea what's happening. No idea. No plan. I need to get out of this, but I don't know how to get out of it. So I feel like Sirius is kind of like me in the situation. I love her and Fox dynamics a lot. Fox is just a super fun character. He says things that are just really funny, but the type of character he is makes sense why he says those funny things. But yeah, it's great. I'm going to keep reading and probably get some dinner, and then I'll check in back with you guys when I get up to page 150. Bye, guys. I'm back. It is about 5:17. I wound up reading to page about 152 in Among the Beast and Briars. This book has so many fun elements. They also have a character in here. I'm in the middle of watching Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm on season 3, and there's the bear in this reminds me so much of Appa, but it's also so eerie and so creepy. I read Forest of Souls last month, and I really liked it. That was like it. I wouldn't say it's the same, but it has a similar like magic system. But this one is definitely like a lot different, but it's still eerie, it's still creepy. But again, it's really a different type of story. I love the adventuring. I've never watched Over the Garden Wall, but it does have elements of that. It also has elements of the Devouring Gray because you can't go into the woods, and that's kind of a thing here. But there's also magic powers, and there's also a trio of characters, which is really unique and really different. I like that. I love Fox's point of view. I think that he's a super fun character. And this is just a personal thing. I love when they title chapters. It doesn't happen a lot. But I do like that because it reminds me of back in my Harry Potter days when you would try to like decipher what the chapter titles meant. So yeah, I'm going to take a little bit of a reading break. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to read a little more. I really am liking this book. Quite fond of it. Really, really great. Glad I picked it up. It was definitely would have worked for my Feel Good-a-thon, but I'm glad that I'm reading it now. So I'll talk to you guys in a little bit when I read a little bit more. Bye, guys. Here I'm back. I do end up getting up to page about 172 in Among the Beast and Briars. I am really, really enjoying this book. I think it is so creepy and so eerie. I love the characters, and it's a book that like I don't necessarily know what's gonna happen. Like they obviously have a set course in mind. The character dynamics are really interesting. I will say it does have a lot of blood in it, like because the way that she gets her powers, if she puts her blood on something, flowers kind of bloom, and it becomes kind of like a power. But it is very like there is a lot of blood in it. So if you're squeamish about blood, like it's like sort of like it's not say it's kind of like blood magic, but not. But if you're a little bit squeamish about blood, there is definitely an element of that in this. There also is like loss of a parent at the very, very start of it. But it's very compelling. I think the setting is really interesting, and I think the dynamics between the two main characters that we have, is just so fun. Like I like their dynamic a lot, and I think that Fox as a character is just unique. Like I'll talk spoilers at the end of this because I don't want to like give too much away, but I really am liking this book and I like the main character a lot. There is an element that is sort of like diseasey, like, you know, when you get the wood illness, it really like takes over your body and you kind of lose your thoughts. They kind of become a little bit like zombies. So just know there is a disease element in it, but it's just interesting. Like I'm really enjoying it. Reminds me a little bit of Forest of Souls, not a lot, but a little bit. This is definitely more like fantastical, and that was that was just like a different type of book, but they do have a similar concept. So I'm gonna go back to reading and I'll update you guys when I can. Bye. Here, just checking back in. It's about 7:12. I did wind up reading to page 200 in Among the Beast and Briars. Still really liking it. The magic system, the powers that Cerise has. I think I'm saying her name right. I think it's Cerise. I'm gonna call her Cerise. I don't know if that's actually who to say it. Her powers keep evolving, and again, like she's really a character where you don't know what the end of the book's gonna be because there really is like no concrete plan. She's just kind of flailing to try to save everyone, and she wants to make sure that Fox is safe, but
there's a lack of a plan, but I'm okay with a lack of a plan because I feel like in this book, like she was not expecting to be in this situation, so her character wouldn't really have a plan. So I feel like she's just hoping that she finds something to help her. And she's just kind of flailing a little bit, but that's okay. I really do like the dynamics. I like that I always say this. I think that romance in, fantasy novels has a time and place, but I'm okay that it doesn't have a strong romantic plot. It might develop, there might be more in the upcoming chapters, but I just really like the character dynamics in this read. It's really, really fun. It's eerie and creepy. It's a perfect like fall read, I think, like really, really well crafted. But I really am quite fond of the characters, and I think that her as a lead and also going off and back with Fox is just a fun dynamic for this book. So I'm gonna go back to reading. I actually got through quite a few of my YouTube videos. I started the day with 60, um, and now I'm down to 45, which may not seem like a lot, but um, election week really cut into my YouTube time. So I'm gonna go back to reading, and I'll update you guys when I read about 50 more pages. But I am at 50%, which is where I wanted to be. So the rest that I'm able to read today is just gravy. Talk to you guys in a bit. Bye. Back. It's 7:39. I am still patiently reading. I'm on page 217 of this book. I am really intrigued how this book is going to turn out. It has a lot of unexpected twists and turns. I would say that one thing unique about this book is that normally you have, like I said this before, there's always like a set plan of attack. The plan of attack in this book is very, very vague, but that's okay. I like how the magic system keeps evolving. I like how the relationship between the characters keep evolving. I've said this before, I sometimes struggle with books where there's like such a small cast of characters because I feel like you're really reliant on that character and that relationship and all that stuff. But I'm finding these two characters, both Fox and Sirius, to be super compelling and super interesting. And I know that like there's a tie back because she has to go back to save her family, and their dynamics in general are just interesting, and I'll kind of get to that at the end of this reading vlog because I want to touch on why it's just such a different book. But I really, again, it reminds me of Avatar: The Last Airbender and The Adventures, but it also reminds me of a really, really creepy wood. And it's just really, really compelling and super fast paced. So I'm gonna go back to reading, and I'll update you guys when I can. I'm gonna try to make some more progress on this tonight. I'm really not tired, which is a rarity for the weekend because I'm normally dead exhausted on the weekends. But I'm gonna make some more reading progress, and I'll update you guys when I read about 250. Bye guys. Guys, Lori here, just checking back in. I did wind up getting up to page like 261 in Among the Beast and Briars. I'm right at the climax of this book. This book finally did get some direction, which is kind of what I was waiting for. Normally in like a fantasy novel, there's always like a path, and you always know what the path is to solve your problem. But this book took just a lot of time to get to that path. But I will say I was really invested in the characters. I'm just happy that we actually have a sort of direction that will probably solve it. There are some plot points that I'm kind of expecting to happen, so if they don't happen, I would be kind of shocked at this point. But it was really interesting. I'm going to try to read a little bit more, maybe read like one or two more chapters, and then I'm probably going to go watch some TV for the evening. So I'm going to go do that. I'm also watching a Penguin Teen preview show. So I'm gonna finish watching that, read a little bit more, and I will check in with you guys when I'm done reading for the night. Bye. I'm back. It's about 12:39. I just got home. I wound up doing a little bit of Christmas planning. I'm not like buying anything yet, but I made my list for my parents. I made my friends kind of gave me a list. So I'm gonna spend a little bit of time, and I'm gonna do my calendar I'm in the middle of working on for the holidays because the holidays are just gonna look a little bit different this year, and I rather have stuff done early than not. I ran a few errands, which was good. We're still waiting to hear about school this week. We're really unsure, so I'm just gonna kind of go do what I have to do, finish my calendar, and then I'm just gonna kind of go back and finish Among the Beast and Briars. Right now I'm on page 261. I went back a few pages because I lost my bookmark and I couldn't find it. So I think I went back a couple of chapters, but I'm definitely going to finish that book today. So I'm going to go do my calendar, watch a few episodes of MacGyver, which is the show that my production of Willy Wonka, which is close to 2 years ago, derailed me from watching. So I'm actually going to go back and watch the end of MacGyver and then watch the season because season 4 comes out in December, and I don't want to fall too far behind. So last night I watched an episode of MacGyver, I watched an episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., still trying to keep track with all the things happening and lockdowns and all that other stuff, news-related stuff. But I am definitely going to finish Among the Beast and Briars today. So I'm going to go do that, watch 2 episodes of MacGyver, and then I'm going to kind of dive in. Probably I'm going to work out. I'll probably ride the bike. It's getting a little bit chilly. It's starting to get cold. And yeah, so I'll check in when I'm ready to start reading for the evening, and then I'll probably, when I'm done with Among the Beast and Briars, I'll probably wrap up this reading vlog. Hi guys. Here, I'm back. It's about 3:02. I did actually wind up reading a little bit, but I did finish my calendar. I watched 2 episodes of MacGyver, which means I only have 1 more episode to watch, and then I am done with season 3. Season 4 I still have to watch, but it's a more shorter season due to COVID. So I'll hopefully be able to watch that before the start of season 5, which is going to be October 3rd. Or no, December 3rd, sorry. But I did want to report that I did get up to page 284 in Among the Beast and Briars. This book took a totally unexpected twist that I was really not expecting, but pleasantly surprised by it. I'm really liking this book a lot. I think the setting is cool, the characters are cool, I love the dual point of views, and it's just a great read. I really can't wait to see how this book ends. I think it's definitely was a slower start at the beginning, but I think it needed for that for like the world building. I like both characters, and I like the cast of characters that we had. It definitely was a smaller cast of characters, but I still enjoyed it, and I think that the cast of characters changed throughout the read. So it's chill, kept me super engaged. So I'm gonna go finish this, and then I'll report back, and then I'll wrap up this reading vlog. Unless I feel like I need to like say something in between. But I have about like 50 pages left. So off I go. I'm actually here to wrap up this reading vlog. So in this reading vlog, it was my week-long reading vlog, and for the first half of the reading vlog, or during the week, I read about 50% of Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. I really wound up liking that book, but I felt like I needed a little bit of a weekend break, and I'm really excited to pick it up in my next reading vlog. And then for the weekend, I just found it finishing Among the Beast and Briars by Ashley Poston. This is a new release that came out in October, I think. I really wound up liking this book. I would wind up giving this book like 4 stars for review. I found it to be super fun, maybe 4.5 stars. But it was just a really unique story. It had elements of fantasy and fairy tale, but it basically followed this girl named Cirrus as she has to save her town or her community from a magical forest, I'll say. And I really liked the dual point of views in this book a lot. There was 2 of them, Cirrus and a character named Fox. A lot of things happen with Fox in this book that I didn't necessarily expect. There was a lot of things I was expecting. I thought the start of it lacked a little bit of direction. It wasn't like a typical fantasy novel where like you had a clear agenda or a clear point. It took maybe midway through the book to kind of get that, but I was actually okay with that. But there was a lot of character development. And I'm going to talk spoilers just in a little bit. So if you don't want to know anything about this book, like don't watch the end of the reading vlog. But I really like that Fox became a fox and then became a human. I thought that was like a really unique way to tell the story. I also liked his identity, like who he became at the end of the story was something I definitely didn't expect. Could definitely see this becoming like a companion series because there was like 2 little brief bits at the end that kind of left off the story for like a little bit more, following 2 totally different characters, which I would be totally game for. So I wound up giving this 4 stars for review, 4.5 stars, and I actually wound up really enjoying it. So I'm going to wrap up this reading vlog, and I'll talk to you guys for my next one.